Has tourists on board and illicit cargo.
We'll prove that we can counter a terrorist threat either on the high seas or within the territorial waters of Georgia.
We're now in the nerve centre of Exercise Arcade Fusion. This is the exercise control where we put together the elements of the crisis that are going to test the 1,600 people from 23 different nations that make up the Allied Rapid Reaction Corps.
Once an incident gets called in, it is passed on to the Combined Joint Operations Centre, or CJOC, where experts put their heads together to manage that situation. That can be everything from supporting host nation, calling for help, redirecting assets to our troops on the ground, or neutralizing enemy threat.
Once we receive the information from the CJOC, we bring it here to develop a course of action to give the right order to the over 160,000 troops under our command.
You are in the sky, you can roll upside down, you can climb, you can dive, you can speed up, you can turn. You are like a bird, you do whatever you want. That's freedom. I was maybe 5 years old, going at an air show. It was the first time I saw jets, and I said, whoa, I want to fly those jets. Yeah, I remember the first time of my life I had such crazy speed, and it was one of the best days. You are concentrated about the mission, so of course you forget all the little troubles of the life, and you just concentrate about the mission, the goal, and what you have to do safely.
It's the most powerful turboprops in the Western world, 11,000 horsepower per engine. Phenomenally powerful and capable. So I think the catchphrase is we'll take loads that a C-130 cannot to places that a C-17 cannot, taking needed equipment to point of need in a condition more ready to fight. The first time we've flown with a large wheeled load and a trailer, close to 20 tons of rolling equipment down the back. So an important step for the development of the British, the Royal Air Force A400, and obviously as part of this NATO exercise taking place here today.
Sweden and NATO have long worked together to assess security in the Baltic Sea region.
The Baltic Sea has a long history of being a strategic location on the globe. It provides access westward into the Atlantic Ocean, and all of the different players here on the Baltic coast want to be able to use the waterways.
The Baltic Sea, along with the access routes it provides, is vital to European security. And while Sweden is not a NATO member, securing the region is a priority for both. This is the Swedish island of Gotland. Its proximity to both the Swedish mainland and the Baltic states makes it integral to Baltic Sea security. The town of Visby, Gotland's medieval capital, is a place that knows a thing or two about defences. Historically an important merchant town under threat from foreign invaders, parts of Visby have been encircled by this wall and its guard towers for almost 800 years. And while these walls are from a bygone era, a modern approach to Sweden's defence has seen a permanent military presence stationed on Gotland for the first time in over a decade.
Our role now is to re-establish a permanent military force here again. And that is everything from building the infrastructure, recruiting the force, training the force, command and control facilities and everything around that. So that is what we are working hard with right now.
As well as stationing troops back on Gotland, a changing security situation in Europe has meant that Sweden has also reintroduced conscription and increased its defence spending.
We have annexation of Crimea, a war going on in Ukraine. We have pressure towards the Baltic states, and we have a lot of activities in the Baltic Sea area. Now we're upgrading our military capability, but also deepening the cooperation with other countries.
Gotland featured prominently in a recent major exercise, Aurora, as did the Swedish archipelago, another key strategic location in the Baltic Sea.
This is the Stockholm archipelago in the exercise Aurora, and there are thousands of islands, and they are along the sea lines to great harbors in Stockholm that are very important for us to control, to deny the enemy access to our harbor.
Exercise Aurora, which was Sweden's largest in nearly 25 years, also involved a number of NATO nations.
Despite there not being a NATO member, I think that's even more reason to partner with them and work with them so that we can start to build that common military language and just understanding of how each other operates.
Sweden has worked side by side with NATO in the Balkans, Libya and Afghanistan, and is what is known as an enhanced opportunities partner. Ministers from Sweden are regularly invited to participate in NATO ministerial meetings to discuss security issues of shared concern, as are ministers from Finland and representatives of the European Union.
We have an excellent cooperation in many levels. We are in the same exercises, so my feeling is that we have a very good and open relationship, and we want to develop that.
The steps taken by Sweden to build on their defensive capabilities reflect a more challenging security situation in Europe. NATO and Sweden continue to forge a close partnership, demonstrating a shared commitment to securing the Baltic Sea region. We are at NATO Days in Ostrava, Czech Republic, one of the biggest displays of security forces equipment and capabilities anywhere in Europe. And we're going to check out some of the hardware.
This is the Gripen Saab 39er. It's from Czech Air Force. The maximum speed of this plane is Mach 0.2, 2,200 kilometers per hour. 2 times we have been in Baltic states and 3 times a NATO air policing mission in Iceland.
We've seen aircraft of all different shapes and sizes, but perhaps the largest and most impressive is this.
Behind us we have the B-1B Lancer, but we don't call it the Lancer, we call it the Bone. It is a supersonic heavy bomber. It can go faster than the speed of sound, 1.2 Mach, and then it's got payload. So we can carry up to 24 2,000-pound weapons or 84 500-pound unguided weapons. So this particular B-1 has been into Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and then the most recent deployment was to Guam.
But of course, NATO Days isn't just about military aircraft. The public here have been treated to demonstrations by the fire department, the police and the medical services. And while they may have enjoyed the barrel rolls and the vehicle crushing, for host nation Czech Republic, this event takes on added significance.
It's very important for our visitors to see the various NATO countries and the Czech Republic as a part of the NATO family. Because of our NATO membership, our country has the absolutely highest security guarantee in our modern history.
This operation involves clearing World War I and II mines up to 60 meters here in the Baltic Sea. So this is Operation Open Spirit. 5 countries are present: Latvia, Estonia, Norway, Canada and UK. There are thousands of mines laid during those periods. Your job is to find a mine, to identify, to put the charge to blow it up.
The waters here are significantly warmer than back home. Another huge difference is the visibility. Sometimes if you have your hand stretched out fully, you can't even see your hand at the end of your arm. I've noticed different apparatuses that people are diving, different boats people are operating out of, and that's really neat to see from a different perspective how they operate their manpower.